Welcome back, everybody, to Spreadzies. It is NFL Week 5. I'm your host, Luca, alongside my co-host, Jelani. And we got an interesting Week 5 slate of games. Just to quickly recap and tell you guys how we did last week. I went 10-6 to now bring my overall record to 16-15. So just slightly over 500, which is good. Jelani, where are you standing right now?
Yeah, right now, I did better than last week. I got 9-7 this week, so in total, 15-16. Trying to get over that 500 mark. So hopefully, week 5 is good to me.
Nice, nice. Before we get into the games, Jelani, I want to get some thoughts on the week that was.
Yeah.
Week 4. It was a very entertaining week. A lot of surprises. Let's start with both New York teams getting the W and pulling off the upset. What was your overall reaction to that?
Yeah, man. Like I thought the Saints were going to pull it out first game at home since all this Hurricane Ida stuff was going on, and they didn't pull it out. They ended up losing that game. And shout out to Daniel Jones leading the charge. And we saw Saquon Barkley score the winning touchdown, and he's one of my favorite players in the game to watch. So that was great to see. And then when you're looking at the Jets, that was a big win for them. And I think that was a bad loss for the Titans. The Titans could have gone, I believe, like 2 games up on everyone else in the division, but now they're a bit stuck there with the Colts getting a W and right behind them now. So I give a lot of credit to Robert Saleh and those guys for having the right game plan against a team in the Titans that's a playoff team. So big win.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the Titans were missing Jones and Brown, but still no excuses to lose in that spot, especially when they had the early lead. The next thing I want to talk about here was the most anticipated game of Week 4, Sunday Night Football, the return of the great Tom Brady going back to New England. What an epic game that was. Let me ask you this, Jelani. Do you think Bill Belichick made the right decision under that heavy rain to send out Nick Folk for that 56-yarder when he could have probably just went for it on, I think it was a 4th and 3, and trust his rookie quarterback in Mac Jones to make a play?
I mean, Mac was playing great football. I think, honestly, you could make the argument he played better than Brady during that game. So I would put the ball in his hands. He proved that he could lead them down the field and get some points on the board, get them in better field goal range throughout the game. So honestly, I would go for it. And Nick Folk is a guy who has, he's been in the league for a long time. He's made some, key kicks, some deep kicks, like 50-yarders and stuff like that. But in the weather, you're going against that rain and the wind, chances are it's not going to go through. And we saw that happen. I would put it in the hands of Mac Jones because the offense was, kind of exposing that secondary in Tampa Bay, and especially went after Richard Sherman a lot. So, I think that was a mistake on Bill's part.
Yeah, I agree. And we rarely see Bill Belichick make big mistakes under those circumstances. Yeah, Mac Jones outplayed Brady, was making plays, looking comfortable. You just got to ask him to get 3 yards. They could have done it. And here's the other thing. Even if Nick Folk hits that field goal, Jelani, there's still, I think, like 57 seconds left for Tom Brady, who I think still had all of his timeouts. That's way too much time. We saw what Aaron Rodgers did the week prior to that. So it was a bad mistake, poor decision. And as a result, the Patriots lose in Tom Brady's return to New England. And the last thing I want to talk about here, the Monday Nighter, the Chargers looking great right now, Jelani. I'm going to ask you this. Are they the best team right now in the AFC West?
Man, I know the Chiefs are there. They're 2-2 right now, so a slow start. But the Chargers, you have to give credit where it's due. They could be undefeated right now.
Yeah.
If things go differently with refs and a bit of mental errors on their part, I think the Chargers would be undefeated right now. And Justin Herbert is the truth. He is somebody who is going to be in the MVP talks this year if this keeps up. That offense is rolling right now. Eckler playing some great football along with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They have guys on that offense. Jared Cook. Shout out to the O-line. They're protecting Justin Herbert, doing a great job, including rookie Rashawn Slater. So, the Chargers right now, you have to give them credit. They beat the Chiefs on the road. Then you go play the Raiders, a team that was undefeated. Everyone's talking about, Vegas is here. And then you beat them on Monday night, prime time. I have to give it to the Chargers right now.
Yeah, I agree. Herbert does look like an early candidate for MVP, and that Chargers team continues to roll. It's a great early surprise story, but we kind of knew they were going to be good this season,
Yeah.
especially how they finished up last season. So it's been great. A big game this week between the Chargers and the Browns. But before we get into that, we're going to start with Thursday night football. It's time for our picks. And the first game here, we got the Rams, who got throttled on Sunday against the Cardinals, who are absolutely rolling right now. They're the lone undefeated team. They're 2-point favorites on the road against the Seattle Seahawks. So Rams, Seahawks, Thursday nighter. Who do you like in the spot, Jelani?
This is a very tough game. Again, divisional games, you never know where they're going to go. Just like that Rams game against the Cards,
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be very close. Didn't happen. I'm going to go Seattle here because the fact that they're at home. I don't think that they're a team that will lose two straight at home. They're right now 0-1 with that loss to Tennessee a few weeks ago. But yeah, the Rams, I think that the Rams could really use a win here because this division, the West, the NFC West, all these games are going to be very critical moving forward as time goes on and as playoff push happens later on. So I think at home, Russell Wilson and these guys coming off a good win against the Niners, give me Seattle in this.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We could probably end up seeing three teams out of this division make the playoffs. So all these games mean something. You can't slip up. And I was very shocked by the Rams on Sunday, just their overall effort. Their offense looked out of sync.
Yeah.
Stafford was missing throws. And just to see what Arizona did to them, it was very shocking. I do like the Rams to bounce back here because on the flip side, yes, Seattle did get the win, but Jimmy G went out after the first half. And Seattle's defense is horrible right now. They're last in a couple of categories or next to last in a lot of the major defensive categories. They can't stop anything. So I do like the Rams offense to get it going and bounce back here. And I just think, Aaron Donald and company is going to give Russell Wilson some fits. They're going to try to slow him down. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Rams are going to get it done. And the Rams are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 meetings against Seattle, including beating them outright in Seattle last year in the playoffs. So I just think this is a spot where the Rams are going to look a lot better and they're going to come away with the big time victory. So I like the Rams here -2 on the road.
All right. And now moving to London, England. Yes, that's where the Jets will be playing the Falcons. Falcons 3.5 favorites here. Luca, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm taking the points. It's tough to be a Falcons fan. I mean, how many times does the team look good for half a football game and then they just collapse? They find new ways to lose. Dating back to the Super Bowl collapse against the New England Patriots, I mean, I don't trust the Falcons whatsoever. I know I picked them once this season and it did pay off, but every time else that I've picked them, I've lost. 3.5, at home or in London. This is going to be a crazy atmosphere. I just think that's way too many points. I think the Jets, they're going to carry that momentum. Wilson looked a lot better. Salah got his first win. I think that's going to carry on here. And I think this is going to be a field goal type of game. I don't know who's going to end up winning, but I will take the points. Give me the Jets here, +3.5.
Yeah, two teams that you cannot trust, especially Atlanta. They had that game against Washington. I don't know what happened. I'm going to go with the Falcons, though, on this one. And I'm just pointing to the fact that the Jets are a very, very young team. That yes, they're coming off their first win, but they're a young team, young quarterback, first time head coach. They're going to an international game, the travel, the schedules, everything changing like that. So I don't know how the Jets are going to be feeling, following this win. Maybe they don't come out as, hot as they were against the Titans or as, um, cohesive in terms of their units as they were against the Titans. So I'm going to take the Falcons here. Do I trust Atlanta? Absolutely not, because the defense is, being exposed every week. Matt Ryan has to deal with it, and it's unfortunate for him, honestly. But yeah, give me the Falcons. I'm going to try to put my faith in them this week, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
The next game here, we got the Saints -1 on the road against the Washington football team. Who do you like?
Give me the Saints. I think the Saints, they're coming off of a game where they should have won against New York for sure, and that's a loss that you just can't have, right? But they're going to come up here. I think Sean Payton will have the game plan for Taylor Heineke, who's, let's face it, he's a guy that has strides to make up. He's still not a guy that is a key starter yet, Yes, he's had some flashes and things like that, but is he reliable enough? We don't know. I think that Sean Payton will have the game plan to try to get him off of his game. And we're pointing to Jameis Winston. It seems like he has an off week, on week, off week, on week. It's like a pattern now. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Jameis comes up big in this one against the defense that everyone was talking about at the start of the year. They haven't looked that good. Falcons, again, that's a team that could put points on the board for sure, and they did against Washington. So I think New Orleans will get this done this week.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there has been a theme, and I'm rolling with that theme. Every other week, the Saints look amazing, and then the
Yeah.
off week, they look terrible. I do think the defense will bounce back here, like you mentioned, against Heineke. And I do think Winston's going to put together a consistent game. The question about the Saints season is going to come down to what we just talked about, consistency. Can this team be consistent and string together some games? Because, I mean, if they continue to play like they've been playing, they're going to finish, just barely over 500 or just under 500. Like, this has just been a very inconsistent team. You don't know which version of Winston and company you're going to get. So we'll go with the narrative. It's the week that Winston and the Saints defense is supposed to look good. So, yeah, we agree here. I like the Saints on the road, -1.5.
All right. And now the Packers and Bengals. This is a Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers game. The Packers are favored 3.5. Luca, what are your thoughts here?
Very interesting game. This is the game that a lot of people are going to look at the Bengals and, see if they're a legitimate team or not, because
Yeah.
they've been a pleasant surprise, 3-1. Not a lot of people thought that at this point in the season, but now they're taking on a true test. Aaron Rodgers and company, after week one, they have turned it on. Week one just proved to be an overreaction by everybody. I mean, this Packers team looks really good. That offense is clicking. Rodgers looks great with that receiving core. But on the flip side, I mean, the Bengals have done a lot of good things. It looked like they were going to maybe get upset last week against the Jags, but you got to give Joe Burrow and company a lot of credit. They hung in tough. They made that comeback, and they got the job done, once again winning on a last-second field goal. This is going to be a very tough game, Jelani, but at the end of the day, with what I've seen from the Packers over the last couple of weeks, I cannot bet against Aaron Rodgers. And I think they will cover this number. So I like the Packers -3.5 and what's sure to be a great football game.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun battle with those QBs. Give me the Packers as well. I think that they're just the better roster, they're the better team, and they're rolling right now. Like you said, week one didn't go well for them, but we all knew that they would wake up at some point. Matt LaFleur and these guys having great game plans week in, week out now. They just did a great job against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think they're going to get another one against the AFC North team here. The Burrow-led Bengals, though, they're playing well this season for sure. This is a great start. This is great for Zach Taylor, a guy who might be on the hot seat if things don't work out this year or next year. So, yeah, great start for the Bengals. Their defense actually playing pretty well compared to what we thought they would be this season. And yeah, Burrow has the weapons. He has Joe Mixon and the receivers that he uses all the time. That's why their offense is doing pretty well. I just think though the Packers, they're coming in confident here. So give me the Pack in this one. They're gonna definitely take these points. So we have a division battle in the NFC North. The Lions going to Minnesota to play the Vikings this week. The Vikings favored 7.5. Luca, what say you on this one?
Yeah, the Vikings are another weird team this season, Jelani, in terms of their consistency. I mean, they look like they're the real deal again, back on track after being in Seattle. And then I don't know what happened against Cleveland after scoring that touchdown. They just got completely shut down. I think this is too many points. And this is the divisional game, like you mentioned. The Lions, yes, they have been a mess. They haven't won any games yet. But, minus a couple of games, they have actually been competitive, and they do show life towards the end of games. And I just don't trust Kirk Cousins and company to cover a touchdown and a half a point here. So, I like the Lions to keep this game competitive. And we know the Vikings, they play in a lot of close games. Yeah. This is a team that usually comes down to the final drive and has their fans, in excruciating nervousness and pain watching what they're going to do next. So this is a spot where I wouldn't be surprised if an upset even happens. So I'll take the +7.5 here with the Lions on the road.
The Lions are a team that plays very hard. I think Dan Campbell is really changing the culture in Detroit for sure. They're not just the Lions that sit down and get destroyed every week. They actually do play hard, and they were down against the Bears by a lot, but they managed to make some strides. I just don't know if this is going to happen this week. The Vikings need one here. They need a win. They need a convincing win. This is the week for that. I'm going to take the Vikings and the points. Give me the points. I think that Kirk Cousins, he's had a good year. He has, but again, last week the Browns, great defense, and they did really bother Kirk in that offense. I think that now playing the Lions, a team that's banged up on the defense and not as good as the Browns, let's just face it. I think that this is the time where we see a lot of air attack. I think that we're going to see a lot of bombs deep down the field. So yeah, Justin Jefferson and these guys, they're going to have a good game against the Detroit Lions. Give me the points.
Okay, the next game, we got the Denver Broncos here on the road taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers open up as 1-point favorites.
Steelers have not been looking good. Ben Roethlisberger has not been looking good. I don't know what's really going on here. I point to the O-line. I just don't think they can protect Big Ben. I don't know if they're, doing enough to get Najee Harris, these great holes to run through and things of that nature. They did play okay against the Packers in the first half, and then it just ended off bad for them. I'm gonna take the Steelers though. Denver is a team that has a nice defense, so that's something to watch. They can really get to Ben. I think this is going to be a possibility on Sunday, but I do think Mike Tomlin and these guys, they have a few tough games coming up, and they need to get one done here against Denver, a team that we don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is going to be playing. He got a concussion, then Drew Lock had to come in on Sunday. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Pittsburgh needs a win here. I think they're going to get one here. It's going to be very close. I do see it probably being like a field goal type of game, but I do believe that the Steelers will finally get one here because coming up, they might end up 2-5, as weeks move forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. To put it simple, this is a must win for the Steelers. I think their season's on the line here. You look out, you look at that division and how good it's shaping up to be. The Steelers got to get a W. And like you said, Jelani, there's a good chance that Drew Lock starts here. If that's the case, I think the Steelers are going to cause havoc on him, that defense, pressuring him. But it'll be interesting to see how Big Ben does look with the Broncos defense coming after him, because Big Ben showing his age a little bit, not the same Big Ben of old, and this Steelers team, not the same Steelers team of old. I mean, how many times have the Steelers been under 500 under Mike Tomlin? I think this is the first time really, because they've always been on the other side of 500. So yeah, the Steelers, expect them to, have their backs up against the wall, play with a sense of urgency here at Heinz Field. And yeah, I agree with you. I think they have to get this W or else their season's over. So I like the Steelers at home here, -1.
All right, and now the Titans and the Jaguars, another division game, intriguing game because the Titans coming off of a tough loss against the Jets, and they are favored by 4 points. So what's your pick?
Yeah, so we don't know if Jones or Brown are going to be available for this game. I'm hoping at least one comes back for this one. This was a tough one. I was going back and forth because you could be sold by the Jags last week and take them in the spot, but I'm not. I'm going to go with the Titans -4. I think the Titans got embarrassed last week. This is a team that have high aspirations, Super Bowl aspirations, if you will. I mean, Mike Vrabel is a guy you could talk about possibly being on the hot seat. A lot of pressure is going to be on him in this game. The Titans cannot lose to two teams that are at the bottom of the league and then be considered taken as a serious contender. So they got to bounce back here, even if they're banged up again. Henry's going to have to step up. Tannehill's going to have to make some throws with the receiving core that he does have by his side. There's no excuses here. The Titans have to come out with a convincing performance. The Jags, they have room for error because they're dealing with a young quarterback in Trevor Lawrence who did look a lot better last week, but the team around him simply isn't good enough yet. So nobody was expecting this Jags team to make strides early on. So they do have a big leash, but not the same thing can't be said about the Titans. And Urban Meyer going to be a little bit, I guess, weird in this game because he's under a lot of pressure or fire right now, given the incidents that happened on the weekend on Saturday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google his name or type in his name on Twitter. So yeah, that was not a good look for him or his team. So I think the Titans are going to take advantage here. And they'll cover the 4 and come away with the W against the Jags.
Yeah, I was gonna say Urban Meyer, man. I don't know what's going on with that. You don't want your head coach to be the guy they're talking about in the media and stuff like that. Another distraction, and especially for a young football team, you don't want that at all. And a team that's looking for a win too. Like so many things going on in Jacksonville. I don't really know if it's gonna help them at all. Coming up, playing a team in the Titans who are angry because they know they should have beaten the Jets. That was a game that it was for them. It was for them. So
Yeah.
this is another game that they must win for sure. Like you said, I mean, you're playing the Jets, you're playing the Jaguars, two teams that honestly, let's face it, they're going to be at the top of the draft order. So this is where these guys, Ryan Tannehill has to come up big. I know he doesn't have, his key weapons in receiver this week. We don't know what the hamstrings are saying for Jones and Brown. But again, they're a lot better team. They're in a lot better team. They're in a better position to come in on the road and silence the Jacksonville crowd. So, yeah, give me the Titans in this one convincingly.
Okay, we're on the same page there. Next game, this should be an interesting one. We got the Eagles taking on the Panthers. Who do you like in the spot, Jelani?
I say the Panthers. I don't know what's going on with Philly. I think there's just a mess right now. You got Jalen Hurts playing pretty well, but given what he has, it's just not enough right now. And Nick Sirianni, first time head coach, you could see the growing pains right now in Philadelphia for sure. And they played Kansas City, unfortunately, so that wasn't going to go well for them. But yeah, I think here Carolina is coming off of a game against Dallas where they did manage to put points on the board. I think that Dallas, they took them for granted and really did, they sat back and thought the game was over. The Panthers almost made a comeback. I think the Panthers offense is one to really watch, even without Christian McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard running the ball pretty well. And then you have those weapons like DJ Moore, like Robbie Anderson, these guys that help out Sam Darnold, who's looking really nice right now. It's looking like a new Sam Darnold. So I think they're going to get right back in the win column. And again, a lot of people are like, are the Panthers for real? Are they not? But yeah, they're definitely gonna win a game that they have to win. This is a game where they're favored, where everyone's expecting them to do right. So yeah, give me the Panthers in this one by a lot.
Yeah, this is the game that's going to tell me a lot about the Panthers. Are they that legit team that people think they could be, or are they just a fraudulent team? Because obviously, once McCaffrey went down, a lot of people wrote him off, and they actually did a lot of good things in that loss against your Cowboys. Like you said, they were able to put points on the board. They made it interesting late. Sam Darnold definitely looks like a new Sam Darnold in town. I do like the Panthers in this spot because on the flip side, the Eagles, they did do a lot of good things against the Chiefs, but at the end of the day, they could not make a play defensively. And, Hurts, he did look much better, but still, there's going to be a lot of growing pains with him. Yeah, I think the Panthers are going to come out here, move the ball, and they're going to get a convincing W to prove to people that this is still a team you got to look out for, even without Christian McCaffrey, who I think they're hoping to have back sooner rather than later. So this is a Panthers team that's going to come out playing aggressively. And they have been one of the true surprise stories so far of this young NFL campaign. So I agree. Panthers get back on track, -4 at home. I'm taking them.
All right. And then we got the Dolphins playing the Buccaneers. The Bucks are favored by 10 right now. That's pretty big. So, Luca, do you agree with that?
Yeah, this is a very interesting game. Flores going up against Brady. I mean, you got the Dolphins though looking like a mess right now, Jelani. I think the Buccaneers are going to smoke him here. I mean, the Buccaneers, they got over the game that they wanted to get over, that emotional game last week. Brady wanted to win so badly. He got the W. I know the Bucks are a little banged up, but I think being at home against a Dolphins team that cannot move the ball at all, how the heck are they going to keep up with the Buccaneers offense? Brady's going to torch Miami. He's done it his entire career. Nothing's going to change now that he's a member of the Bucks instead of the Pats. So yeah, 10 is a big number, but at the end of the day, the Buccaneers are significantly better than the Dolphins. And this is looking like it's going to be a downhill year for the Dolphins, who are still without Tua, and they just have a lot of questions and no answers. So yeah, I like the Buccaneers big here, -10.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. Tom Brady, when he was in New England, there were some games against Miami that he did kind of struggle, but those were games in Miami. This is one at home in Tampa Bay. I think that Tampa settles this one for sure. Like you said, they got over that emotional week 4 game in New England. They all knew what was going on. Now they can put that behind them and just play some football. I think that the Dolphins just aren't ready for what is going to come. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all these weapons, and Fournette too. So yeah, no, the Dolphins definitely in transition. I don't know what's going on there. Jacoby Brissett, you could tell he is a backup. He's not that guy that they need. And Tua, he's still not back yet. The offense not gelling really. And then the defense, Brian Flores, let's see what he does. He knows Brady really well. So does he have a good game plan set for this one? Probably. But I still think that the Bucs will settle this one for sure.
Our next game on the slate, we got the Patriots -9. Big number here on the road against the Texans. Jelani, who do you got?
The Texans got rolled over in Buffalo, and they're coming off of another loss. I don't know. Houston, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen for you. Give me the Patriots points here. The Pats, they played pretty well again against the Bucs, a team that's, coming off of that championship and, has a super team, you could say. And it was raining. It was tough weather in Boston and New England for sure, their last game. But you know what? Mac Jones came up huge. He played a great game, and he really showed us that, yeah, he could be this guy that could command the offense, that could, get things done for Bill Belichick and company. And yeah, the Texans, I don't think they're ready for what's to come. Belichick, he knows what to do against rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. Davis Mills, I don't know if it's going to go well for him, unfortunately. So yeah, Patriots for sure. They're going to come in here and roll them.
Yeah, I agree, Jelani. This is going to be a tough game for Texans fans. But, I mean, all their games have been tough. I mean, they're coming off a shellacking against the Bills. And, yeah, it's not going to get any easier. Like you mentioned, Belichick, he's next to perfect against rookie quarterbacks. He's going to have the perfect game plan for Mills. I don't trust that Texans offense to do anything. And, yeah, Mac Jones, I think this is going to be his coming out game. Like, he showed a lot of good things last week. I think this is going to be the game where he has another solid game ending in a W, because that was obviously a tough loss for the Patriots. Let's call it for what it is. They played Tampa perfectly, coming down to the wire. You couldn't have asked for a better game from Mac Jones. So obviously he's going to want to get that one, off his shoulders and get back in the win column. So yeah, I know it's a big number. Patriots usually don't blow teams out, especially the non-Brady Patriots. But hey, I think this game's going to be, it's going to be similar to that game against the Jets where, yeah, Belichick shut down the rookie QB. The Patriots made plays. Mac Jones just did enough, and they ended up winning that game big. So, yeah, Patriots -9 here on the road. I agree.
All right, and a good game here that we got on Sunday, the Browns and the Chargers. Luca, what are your thoughts on this one?
This is going to be maybe the game of the week. I mean, two teams that are thinking about deep playoff runs right now, and they're playing pretty solid football. You got the Browns, Chargers, a lot of key players on both these teams. This is going to be Mayfield against Herbert. This is a pick'em game. Oh man, this is truly going to be a toss-up game. But you know what? I'm going to go with Herbert and this red-hot Chargers team. Like you mentioned earlier in the show, Jelani, the Chargers should be undefeated. This is looking like a team, that you got to deal with for many years to come. And the Browns are a really good team. Obviously, their defense is stacked. Look what they did against Kirk Cousins. And Mayfield has been managing that offense very, very well. And I've been impressed with what I'm seeing from Baker Mayfield. I think he's the long-term quarterback for the Browns, something they haven't said in so long. But, this game could go either way. But I'm going to take the home team here, Chargers. Give me them by a field goal. I like the Chargers here at home against the Browns.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at the Browns in this one, and I'm saying, can they get it done? They could with that defense. I think that's going to be the critical part of this game. Can they get to Justin Herbert and get him off of his game? Because we saw, in week 2 against Dallas, when the Chargers were playing Dallas managed to get to Justin, and that really got him off of his game. So that's what the Cleveland Browns have to do, and that's what they're really good at doing. We saw what they did, the past few weeks. So I'm going to go Browns here. The Chargers are a good team, like we mentioned. Like, they have all the weapons on offense, and defensively, Joey Bosa leading the charge in the rush. You have guys on the back end. Derwin James is here, finally healthy, playing well. And rookie Asante Samuel Jr. doing pretty well at the corner spot for sure. But yeah, the Browns, they could really use one here, having an opportunity to really get themselves on pace to win this division, get ahead of teams like the Ravens and the Bengals, who've had good starts too. One thing I'm going to look for though is, can Baker Mayfield, gel and get in a rhythm with Odell Beckham Jr. I just think that Odell could have had like 200 yards against the Vikings. It's just they didn't get that cohesion, didn't get on the same page on many passes. If they can in this game, that will be huge, going over the top on this Chargers offense, on this Chargers defense, I should say, because in this game, it's going to be a game where points are put on the board. The Chargers can get on the board at ease, with ease. So yeah, the Browns are going to need touchdowns here. I do think that they're going to get it done, but I would not be surprised if the Chargers pull this one out.
Yeah, this game could really go either way. Next game here, we got the Bears taking on the Raiders. The Raiders -4.5 favorites. Who do you like?
Give me the Raiders here. I believe that Andy Dalton, I don't know if it's true. He might be QB1 coming back this week. Who knows what Nagy's going to do there. But, if that's the case, I don't know. Like the Bears, I'm just not too convinced by them, by their offense, I should say. Because, yeah, Justin Fields, he did play well. But, again, the Lions, so we can't really give him too much credit, I should say, or the team in general too much credit because it's the Lions. But again, their defense is a defense that plays really, really well. Khalil Mack, he's playing his old team. He's going to want to get some things done against Derek Carr and company. But yeah, I give it to the Raiders just because, I know they ended up losing by 2 TDs last night, but you know what? They had an opportunity to really come back. I think their offense is one that people are really looking at and saying, wow, they're playing really well this year. Derek Carr leading the charge. I think that Josh Jacobs is going to be key in this game. Just running the ball is going to be important, not just, the air attack with Darren Waller. So, yeah, give me the Raiders here. I just want to see what's going to happen with the Bears because the Raiders pass rush has played pretty well this season, led by Max Crosby and company. So, yeah, give me the Raiders.
Yeah, so I'm not sold on the Raiders entirely. I mean, yeah, they didn't look good on Monday Night Football, and even the week prior to that, I mean, they let Miami back in that game. I think there's a football team that does play in a lot of close games unnecessarily, and I think this is going to be another one of those games. I think the Bears are going to make it interesting. Khalil Mack, like you said, Jelani, he's coming back to take on his old team. I think the Bears defense is going to do a lot of good things, possibly create some, takeaways. Can Fields continue to look good if he does get the start? I mean, if it's Andy Dalton, he's obviously a proven veteran quarterback that can put the ball down the field and put points on the board when needed. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. This could be a spot where maybe the Raiders even lose, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the points. I think Chicago's going to make it very interesting. And like I said, I'm not sold by this Raiders team. I know they got a good record. They were undefeated going into that game against the Chargers, but I think this is a team that needs to prove a lot more to me before I'm sold by them. So I think it's going to be a close game. Yeah, give me the Bears and the points.
All right. And a very interesting game. We have the Niners playing the Cardinals. NFC West, the best division in football. Cardinals favored 5.5. So, Luca, do you think the Cardinals will get this one?
So is this a trap game like last week or what? Because I'm getting the same type of vibes because last week I thought the Rams were the best team in football. I think this was a similar spread, and I'm like, the Rams are going to destroy them, and then the opposite happened. So this week, everybody's thinking the Cardinals are the best team in football, and people are expecting them to destroy the Niners. So is the opposite going to happen? I don't think so. I mean, Jimmy G, he's not going to be ready for this one, I don't think. So cue Trey Lance. I think it's going to be a lot for the youngster to be asked to do in his first start to beat the best team in football. The Cardinals can put up whatever number they want. Kyler Murray, talk about another MVP candidate. He has been putting on a show. This Cardinals defense has been putting on a show. This is a complete football team, a fun football team. And the Cardinals right now are just doing a lot of good things. So, yeah, I like the Cardinals -5.5 to get it done against a Niners team that is hobbled right now. And, the Cardinals are going to keep their undefeated season alive here.
Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. It's going to be a very fun game because, it's a divisional battle. So we love to see it. But I don't know if the Niners are ready for the attack that Arizona has. Arizona's offense can do whatever they want, like you said. So I think they're going to get a lot of points on the board. Now, can San Francisco keep up? I'm just not sure of it. And especially if Trey Lance is in there. Again, he's a rookie, so I don't think he's going to come out and looking like Joe Montana. I think that it's going to take some steps. And yeah, Arizona's defense has played pretty well this season too. So we'll see what happens with the situation at QB for San Francisco, because I've heard that Jimmy G's trying to, play this week. I just don't know if that's going to happen. And, on the defensive side of the ball, Nick Bosa and that pass rush, they need to get Kyler Murray, because if you don't get in his face, if you don't rattle him, he's just going to do whatever he wants. So I think that the O-line for Arizona is going to come up big in this one, protect Kyler Murray and get him going, and also the run game too. So give me the Cardinals in this one. I don't think it's going to be as close as some people think.
Okay, next game here, America's game of the week. We got the Giants taking on the Cowboys, your Cowboys, who have looked really good this season. Who do you like in the spot?
Got to go with America's team on this one. No bias. I think that the Cowboys have a very good offense. It's really, really looking good. And why? It's because the running game is back. When we were pretty good in 2016, 2018, that was because Zeke ran the ball. And now we have Zeke and Tony Pollard running the football at a high level. Zeke had a resurrection type of game against Carolina. Even broke out for a 47-yarder, which we haven't seen since he was like Zeke in 2016. So yeah, the offense is looking really good. I do believe that this week they're going to try to air the ball out a bit more than they did against Carolina, because, guys like CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper didn't really get too many touches on Sunday. It was really a game of tight ends and running the football. But yeah, when you're looking at New York, I just don't know if they could hang. I don't know if they can. Daniel Jones, again, some games he looks really good, some games he doesn't. What Daniel Jones are we going to see this week against a defense in Dallas that has new life under Dan Quinn, and a guy like Trayvon Diggs just intercepts the ball, with ease now, it seems. He has 5 already this season, so we'll see what happens there. I think for New York, they're going to have to try to run the football to keep Dak and the offense on the bench. So using Saquon Barkley, even using the legs of Daniel Jones will be critical in this one, but I don't know if they could hang, so give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. I think the running game for the Giants is going to be critical for keeping this a close one. I think the Giants are going to make this a close game. 7 points is way too many points for me in a divisional game. I know with the way the Cowboys have been airing it out and with how that offense has been looking, 7 doesn't seem like a lot of points to many people. But you look at this Giants team, Jelani, after that week 1 blunder against the Broncos where they got blown out, they have played teams tight. I mean, they lost 2 games by a last-second field goal. So right now, the Giants could be 3-1. And obviously, they got the upset win last week against the Saints, which I had a good feeling they would. So I don't think they're going to beat the Cowboys in this spot, but I think this is going to be a close game, maybe a field goal type of game, or Cowboys winning by 4. I think, the Giants do have a lot of momentum. I think Saquon's going to have a big game. And, can Daniel Jones keep up his play at a consistent level? That's going to be the key here. It's going to be a fantastic game, but I think the Giants are going to prove a lot of people wrong when they do keep this game closer than what a lot of people think. So, yeah, I'll take the 7 points plus 7 Giants on the road.
All right. Well, Giants-Cowboys games always close. And now we got the Bills and the Chiefs, a repeat of the 2020 AFC Championship. The Chiefs are favored 2.5 points. So, Luca, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, interesting line here because the Bills have looked like the better team, but I mean, the Chiefs are going to be at home for another Sunday nighter. They're really going to lose another, Sunday nighter. They lost one against Lamar and the Ravens. I think the Chiefs are going to get the job done here, Jelani. I think this is a team that likes to, have adversity at times and likes to have competition. I think the Chiefs honestly have gotten off to a slow start because they were bored. I mean, they were bored of just beating teams handedly. So, I mean, last week, they finally had some adversity thrown in their face. People saying, oh, is this Chiefs team? Have they been exposed? Is this the same Chiefs team? And then what do? They come out, Pat Mahomes looking great with his drives, that explosive offense, marching down the field, just putting away the Eagles. So I think they're going to be ready for this game, which could be a preview of the AFC Championship game, which was our championship game a year ago. The Chiefs play up to their competition. And I know Josh Allen and company, that offense has looked very good the last couple of weeks, putting up big numbers. But who do they play? Washington, and then obviously last week, Houston, who looks like a scrub team right now. So this is going to be a fantastic game, but I cannot bet against Pat Mahomes at home here again. And I think this is going to be a Chiefs win that's going to tell a lot of people, yeah, you were wrong for doubting this Chiefs team because they are still the class of the AFC.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one for sure. I think that these two teams are going to meet each other later on in the year. I'm going to say the Chiefs, just because I got to put my faith in Patrick Mahomes on this one. I do want to see what that defense of KC is going to do, though. I think the spread could go all over the place because the defense just has not looked good. I don't know what's happening over there. They even let the Eagles get some points on the board, drive down the field as well. And when you're playing a team like Buffalo, who has put 40 on all these teams that they're playing against, it's going to be a lot of fireworks for sure. And Josh Allen is going to have a good game for sure. I think that we need to expect that. But again, the Chiefs, like you said, they had a slow start. They get some wins now. You're playing an Eagles team. You needed to win that one. You get it out of the way. They're feeling a lot better now than they were a few weeks ago. So, you have that along with the fact that they're at home at Arrowhead. It's a tough place to play. The Bills would know about that. I think the Chiefs get this done in prime time. It's going to be another great game, though, with Patrick Mahomes playing against Josh Allen. I always love when those two guys play each other.
Yeah, this is going to be a shootout. Whatever the over is, take the over, because I think this is going to be a game. First team to hit, 40 points wins, because a lot of points are going to be put up on the board, like you said. Okay, the final game of week 5, Jelani, we got the Colts taking on my Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens with an impressive win on the road against the Broncos. They're at home here, 7-point favorites. Who do you like?
Give me the Ravens here. They did come up big in Denver. I thought Denver was going to pull off an upset with that defense, with the altitude playing at home. But no, the Ravens stuck to their guns. They're a great running football team. And I think they could, set the record for most consecutive 100-yard games in terms of rushing. So yeah. I think that's going to happen again. I don't know if the Colts have enough for the run defense to handle Lamar Jackson, to handle those running backs that the Ravens always use. And I do find that the Colts, they do get a big win. They got a big win against the Dolphins. They needed it because they would have been 0-4, which no one would have predicted. But again, the Ravens, I find that they're the better team. I think that they're the better coached team, and Lamar will be huge. Lamar in prime time, that's what we love to see. So yeah, give me the Ravens here. Sorry, Colts, but you guys are going to fall to 1-4. Not a good start.
Yeah, it was interesting to see at the end of that Ravens-Broncos game, they did run a play with 4 seconds left to keep the record alive. I agree with that. Listen, there's time on the clock. The Ravens obviously need to break the record, so I'm all in favor of that. I know the Broncos weren't, so that was just a funny side story to that win for the Ravens. They do have a chance to break the record, like you said. -7 here. Yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens, Jelani. I think this is going to be a blowout win for them. The Colts did get a victory, but who do they beat? The Miami Dolphins, who have no offense, and they made Carson Wentz actually look good out there, who's hobbling right now, who's not 100%. So I think the Ravens defense is going to pressure Wentz. Wentz is not going to be able to, look good against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he's going to be his electrifying self. The Ravens offense is going to come alive here. They're at home. Yes, it's primetime game. Lamar Jackson loves to come up big in these games. Ravens big to close out week 5.
All right, we'll see what happens with that. But Luca, it's been nice. We'll see how we do week 5. This week will be a lot of fun, a lot of great games. And guys, stay tuned for week 6, definitely coming next week. For Jelani and Luca, this was the Spreadzies.